All right, let's get right into it. We're tackling one of the oldest rumors in language learning. You've heard it, I've heard it, maybe you've even said it yourself. You know, after a drink or two, I swear my foreign language skills just get better. But is there any truth to it?
Well, believe it or not, a group of scientists decided to put this to the test. And their study was so brilliantly weird that it actually won an Ig Nobel Prize. You know, the awards for science that first makes you laugh and then makes you think. So what on earth did they find out?
So let's start with the big question. Why do so many of us feel like this is a thing? It really gets to the heart of what it feels like to learn a new language. That feeling that something is holding you back.
I mean, we've all been there, right? On one side, you have all these negative thoughts. I'm just not good at this. Or my tongue can't make those sounds. But then, on the other side, you have this really common experience where a single beer seems to make all that hesitation just melt away. Suddenly, you feel like you sound better. This is what it all boils down to, and it's exactly what the scientists wanted to know. When we're struggling with our accent, is it because we truly lack the physical ability, or is it something more psychological, a kind of mental barrier, an inhibition that's getting in our way?
Okay, so let's get into the experiment itself. How in the world do you design a test to figure this out?
The setup was actually pretty simple. They got a bunch of language learners and split them into two groups. Group A was given a drink with a little bit of alcohol. Group B got a drink that looked and tasted the same, but was actually a non-alcoholic placebo.
And here's what happened next. First, everyone had to have a short conversation in their second language. Simple enough. Second, everything they said was recorded. And third, and this is the genius part, they had native speakers listen to those recordings and just rate how good the pronunciation was.
Now, this is absolutely key. The judges rating the recordings had no idea who was in which group. They didn't know who had been drinking and who hadn't. That's how you get unbiased scientific results. So, the moment of truth. All that setup, what was the verdict? Did the so-called liquid courage actually make a difference? Okay, first off, no big surprise here. The people who actually drank alcohol felt like they were speaking better. They reported feeling more fluent, more confident. But, you know, that's subjective. That could just be the booze talking. But here's the kicker. It wasn't just in their heads. The native speakers, the objective judges who had no idea who drank what, they agreed. They rated the pronunciation of the drinkers as being noticeably better. And when you dig into the data, it gets even more interesting. Their grammar didn't get any better, their vocabulary didn't magically expand, there was no change in those areas for either group. The one and only area that saw a huge improvement was their pronunciation. So the main takeaway here is pretty wild. This wasn't just someone feeling more confident. This was a real, measurable, observable improvement in their actual performance.
So what is going on here? How is this possible? Well, it's not magic, it's psychology. And it has everything to do with silencing that little voice in our heads.
It comes down to a concept called self-monitoring. You know that inner critic, the one that's always asking, wait, did I say that right? Was that the right word? Oh no, they're going to think I sound stupid. That voice creates performance anxiety, and it can be paralyzing.
And this, right here, is the most important idea in this whole explainer. Alcohol doesn't give you any new skills. It doesn't make you a better language speaker. All it does is lower the psychological shield of self-doubt and anxiety that was preventing you from using the skills you already have. And think about it, this idea pops up everywhere, not just in language. In sports, they call it choking, when an athlete overthinks a simple free throw. In music, a performer who's afraid to hit a wrong note plays without any soul. It's the exact same principle. Overthinking gets in the way of performing.
Okay, so let's get to the most practical question. How can we use this amazing insight to actually unlock our own abilities without, hitting the bar?
Because obviously the question on everyone's mind is, great, so I should have a quick drink before my next presentation or language exam, right? And the answer to that is a very, very clear no. Definitely not.
Just think of alcohol as a really clumsy, crude tool. It works, kinda, but it's not the right way to do it. The real goal isn't to depend on some substance, it's to learn how to get to that same mental state, that state of lower anxiety through much smarter and healthier ways.
So how do we lower that shield on our own? Well, you can create practice environments where it's totally okay to mess up. You can find conversation partners who understand that mistakes are just part of the process. And maybe most importantly, you can try to shift your focus away from being perfect and just focus on connecting and communicating. That's how you get the same result, sustainably.
And that really leaves us with this one powerful idea. This strange little study isn't really about drinking at all. It's a reminder that, so often, the real barriers holding us back aren't our lack of ability, but the mental cages we build for ourselves.